Samson's technique has been developed to be the most natural it can be done. I mean, to, in effect, look like it's never been transplanted at all. The whole industry started from a fairly rudimentary point with a plug procedure that was candidly awful looking. Around about the mid-90s, there was an innovation called follicular unit grafting, which is essentially moving as little as a single hair. That dramatically improved the procedures. So at Samson, we really got involved at that point where it was, that's not good enough, and said, how do we take that procedure that's gotten a lot better and take it to its next evolution, the next step? We said if our goal is to replicate a completely natural head of hair, then shouldn't we study completely natural heads of hair? We say about hair transplantation that rule number 1 is keep the person looking natural. Rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. Natural, natural, natural. If it's not natural, don't do it. And most hair transplant practices are run by a physician who tends to think like a physician. We have that too, top quality physicians, but we bring the artist perspective and we marry the two. And that's what we think produces a phenomenal result. We think of this as putting ourselves in the position of the prospective client. We want to give them the information that we'd want if we were sitting where they are. So, complete information about loss, the various options they have for treatment, which may include transplantation, but may not. The point is that give them information. The client will decide what's right for him or her. That's not for us to decide, that's for them to decide. Our job is to make sure they decide it based upon complete information. Once you develop a technique, once you have studied nature and figured out how to produce those hairlines, you have to then produce them. And that requires the entire surgical team being able to do that. Headed up by the physician, and not all physicians can do it. You have to carefully select because there's a wide variation in physicians, just like there's a wide variation in people. And you can have a doctor who might be a very skilled surgeon that may not possess the aesthetic judgments to be a good Samson surgeon. Big difference. At Samson, you need great surgical ability and you need outstanding aesthetic ability, artistic ability. And we look for both.
My wife is a hairstylist. She's been in business for quite a long time, and you know, throughout our relationship, I've gone into her salon and I've seen a lot of people who've had their hair done, and I've seen some pretty bad work. And my biggest concern wasn't the fact that I would have no hair; it was the fact that I would have bad hair. That was my biggest concern, was having a fake hairline.
The very first time that I spoke to Samson, I did it because one of my clients came in and had his hair done, and I was blown away. It was so good. I said, okay, you know what? You know, I have a lot of guy clients. I recommend a lot, you know, of things in their life to try to, you know, they come to me. I think I'm the pro. And I called and got Bill on the phone at Samson, and he was so easy to talk to. You know, he just really welcoming. Actually invited me down. I came down, met him in person. Great guy. You know, there are people who try to sell you things, and there are people who have a great talent, and it's there for the offering. There's no hard sell, you know, at all. It is a highly polished machine in that they talk to the clients, they find out what they need, and then go through it, show them exactly what to expect. There are no questions, you know, of what's it going to be like tomorrow? What do I have to do with this?
My name is Richard Dalton. I'm a hairstylist. I was hairstylist to Her Royal Highness Diana, Princess of Wales, for probably 10, 12 years. Been a spokesman for Samson for, I would think, since the beginning, so it's probably around 6 years. To me, as a hairdresser over the years, I had really never considered for myself hair restoration because of probably the disasters and really the bad, I hadn't really seen a good one, quite honestly.
I did a lot of research, looked around at different places. My concern is not having no hair. A lot of guys out there don't have any hair. My concern was having bad hair.
I'm really happy with the result. And people, when I say I have a hair transplant, they go, no. It's always the first thing that doesn't believe it.
Every single client I've sent in has come in months later and been ecstatic. I think, some people set the bar to here and try to match it. If it comes out here, you're let down. He sets it here and it comes out here.
It had, been probably 9 months to a year after the first time I had it done. And coming from the UK, I'd gone back home and people looked at you like, oh, you look really good, California's doing good. And, you seem to be very rested and whatever, but they couldn't quite figure out what it was.
I'm ecstatic that I did it. Everybody, you hear people, they say, oh, I wish, had I known, I would have done this a lot sooner, and I would have. I'm glad that I waited, because had I done it sooner, I probably would have went somewhere else, and I wouldn't have the same result that I got here.
And that's the most satisfying thing about having a hair transplant company, is when you see that you've changed somebody's life in such a positive way. Hair loss bothers a lot of people, something like 50% of men and 25% of women. When you can help somebody with that, and help them in a way that truly it looks like it was never done, that's very gratifying. That there is a almost maniacal focus on quality. We're going to do this so it's natural, or we're not going to do it.